Hey there, so you're thinking about making a move to the Highland Alpine area? Well, you are in luck. Today we are right here in Alpine, and we are going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of living right here in this city, and we're going to hop into it right now. Mariah here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your very first time here. This channel is literally everything you need to know about eating, working, playing, sleeping, and living in the Salt Lake City, Utah areas. If that is of interest to you, consider subscribing down below. Tap the notifications bell so that you are notified of our weekly videos. We hear from people like you all the time who are looking to make a move here or relocating here, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking about making a move in a month, in a year, whatever from now, please feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and it would be our pleasure to connect with you. Hey there, so you're thinking about making a move out here to Utah, and you've heard some chatter a little bit about Alpine and Highland. Well, today we're going to hop right into some of the advantages, disadvantages possibly of living right here in this area, and let's hop right into it. So number one, Highland Alpine, this area, they kind of combine the two cities together when they're talking about Alpine and Highland, because they are both pretty small cities, and they really combine a lot. Like their school districts are combined together, a lot of their sporting activities, a lot of things are just combined together. So when people say like, oh, I live in the Highland Alpine area, it is this whole area here. So one of the big draws of what brings people out here clearly is you are nestled right against the mountains. There are neighborhoods, and I'll kind of take you on a little tour of some neighborhoods, but you are really nestled right against these mountains. You're about 30-35 minutes, depending on where you are in this area, from south of Salt Lake City. And one of the things that you are going to find out here is it is pretty quiet. It's a pretty quiet, small town place. And so a lot of people that, come out here from Salt Lake City, they're like, one of the big draws here to this area is just, it's quiet. It's, like I said, small town. They've got a lot of the lots sizes here that are right here in the Highland Alpine. They used to be zoned for at least 1/4 of an acre, if not a 1/2 acre. So a lot of the lots that, previously were already built before are on 1/4 acres, 1/2 acres, or even more. So people here in this area have more space. So that's something that you're going to notice. Small town, larger lot sizes. You are also going to see a lot larger homes here. Something else that draws people here is they love just a lot of the open space and very quiet. Another big draw for people coming this way to this East Bench area of Alpine is just the recreation. You're going to see behind me, you may end up seeing bikers and hikers and everything. There are miles and miles and miles of trails behind me, and in fact, I'm at Lambert Park right now, and a lot of bike riders come, and there's a lot of trails over here. And then if you keep going up just a little bit, there are a couple really cool waterfalls and a really cool, really neat hikes that we've gone on with our family before. So just the number of trails and outdoor activities here is huge. So if you're big into the outdoors, if you are big into recreation, this might be a good spot for you, just because there is a lot going on. And then it's proximity. Another pro of why people are coming out here is really just the proximity to Salt Lake, and then really the proximity down to Provo, and then to Lehi. I know a lot of people personally that work in the tech industry that work right in Lehi, Utah. Lehi is about 10 minutes west of the Alpine Highland area, and then depending on where you are, it might even be a few minutes closer. So the proximity to the Silicon Slopes, which, like I said, is that tech industry, a lot of job opportunities are there. So people love living here because it's close to that. And then also because it's close, it's still close enough to the Salt Lake International Airport. A lot of people here love to travel, and some people travel for work, but you've got that, and it's about 35 minutes away. So quiet. It's, you know, and one of the things that we really haven't touched on much too is the school district that's here. The Alpine Highland area is part of the Alpine School District, which is one of the best school districts here in Utah. It's got some of the best sports programs actually in the high schools here. Its basketball team at Lone Peak High School is always known for, you know, winning lots of just state championships, and a lot of their sports programs are feeders to a lot of the colleges and universities that are nearby. So you've got the education, you've got the small town feel, it's very quiet, you've got more land, larger lots of more personal space. You've got a ton of sports and recreation that are nearby as well. And so those are some of the big draws of why people are coming out here. In fact, actually, it was funny, just the other day, my family, we took a bike ride to a park that's it's really close by here in Lambert Park, but down near Creekside Park is the name of that park. And we were there with our family, and we ended up meeting another family that was there. And when we were there, we got to talking, and they were like, oh, so are you from around here? And we're like, oh yeah, we live, and we just kind of chatted and told them where we were at, and they said, oh yeah, we're actually moving from Salt Lake City, like downtown Salt Lake City, and they're building a house right in Alpine. And they started they came out here a couple of years ago, and they're like, yeah, Salt Lake is awesome, and we've loved living there and raising our family so far, but we think we want more of a small town feel. We want more just quiet. And so at any rate, they ended up finding a place here and are building, and they're super excited about that. And I know one of the things that my kids love here in the Alpine Highland area, like I mentioned, the small town feel, well, they've got some different parades and festivals throughout the year as well. One of my kids' favorite is called Alpine Days, and basically it's just a festival. They've got a 5K race in the morning. They've got a parade during the day where everybody lines up their chairs, and actually people line up their chairs on Main Street. I want to say almost like 2 or 3 days before the event, before the parade even happens. And the first time I remember we drove by, I was like, gosh, I wonder what all those chairs are there for. And then I realized, oh yeah, Alpine Days is coming up, and those chairs are just lined up. Nobody touches the chairs. The chairs just hold their spots, but I thought it was very funny. But yeah, people love the parades. And then of course they've got like the festivals during the day with the roller coaster rides and all the things that the kids love. So small town feel, and those are some of the main pros of why people are moving out here this direction. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share with you just a few different neighborhoods of what you can expect here in the Highland Alpine area, and let's hop into it. let's chat just briefly about some of the disadvantages of living here in the Highland Alpine area. Number one is going to be the cost of living. House prices here are significantly higher in this area as opposed to some of the surrounding suburbs. So your average house price in this area here is going to range you right around 700, but can go up from there significantly. So 700,000 would probably get you a 2,500 square foot home, maybe on like a quarter of an acre. It's probably built in the 80s or a little bit before that. If you are looking for a home that is newer, that is anywhere from 4,000 square feet on up, those are gonna probably start you right around $1 million, but more likely like 1.5. So the cost just to get in this Highland Alpine area is significantly higher, like I said, than some of the surrounding areas. And then number two, because more people continue to find out about this area, traffic has increased here on Main Street. It is interesting, like during certain times of the day, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, when school's getting out, that Main Street gets very, very backed up. So there are areas here in Alpine or Highland that are gonna take you a lot longer to get from one place to the next, just depending. The farther you are up here against the mountains, the longer it will take you to get down through the town. And generally, if it's not school traffic or it's not like rush hour, you can get in and out very easily, but it has become a little bit more congested here over the years. So increasing house prices, and then also just the traffic and congestion here. And then number three, if you are looking for a lot of shopping and all of that, this is something that's important to know. Alpine does not have even a grocery store. Yes, you heard that right. There's not even a grocery store here in Alpine. There's no fast food restaurants. There are nothing to do with that. There is one gas station. There's a snow cone shack that's open for a couple months out of the year. There are a couple, different like buildings and insurance companies and all of that. But in terms of like eateries and restaurants and that, you will not find that in Alpine. If you go to Highland though, Highland does have more, it has a grocery store, it has a couple of grocery stores. It also has several gas stations, and it will have more of your fast food, Subway and Domino's and that. But here in this area, you're not going to find a lot of, you're not going to find any fine dining, and in Alpine, you're not going to find restaurants. For some people, they love that. They're like, I don't want all of the businesses and I don't want all of that here. For other people, they're like, man, it's really hard to find something good to eat around here. But you will need to go to Lehi, American Fork, Cedar Hills, some of those other places that are close by. And like I said, Highland has other places to eat, your Costa Vida and your Zupas and some of those places, but actually right here in Alpine, they do not. So something definitely to keep in mind. And last but not least, we have to talk about the weather because we are here in Utah. Some people love the weather here. Other people, it is a deterrent for them. So let's chat about the weather for a second. Today is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, it's actually kind of a little bit overcast. Last night there were some thunderstorms, which was, of course, we love, and my family loves. We think it's really fun. But so today it's kind of a little bit overcast, but it's a very beautiful day. Something to keep in mind here in this area is it will get very windy, and it is also dry. Utah, as you know, is a desert, and so it gets dry, and just because of the elevation and everything, windy and dry. It's not windy all of the time. Clearly, today is a perfect day, but those winds can pick up really, really fast. And depending where you are in Alpine and Highland also, there are some areas and some spots that are a lot windier than others. So if you're thinking like, oh, I want to move out here, but I'm not really super into the wind, there are certain pockets that are less windy or more windy, again, depending on where you're at. And then kind of going along with that, the weather here is a little bit sporadic and it is a little bit spontaneous. Sometimes people here in Utah will say like, hey, if you don't like the weather, wait a half hour and you'll get a something else, you know? So it could be thunderstorms and then a half hour later, it's beautiful and sunny. So just that weather can be spontaneous. And then also going along with the weather, if you're up in Alpine in certain areas closer to the East Bench, up a little bit higher, you're going to see more snow than you will down in Highland. And there's certain areas in Highland that you will see a lot less snow. I know one of the first Christmases that we were here, we ended up going to one of our friends' houses and they live up in Alpine, kind of on the East Bench area where I'm at here. And where we were living at the time, we drove up, and the amount of snow where we were in Utah County compared to where they were in Alpine, even though it was only 10-15 minutes away, I mean, they had snowbanks already. I mean, so much more snow. So again, that for some people is like, oh yeah, bring it on. We love the snow. Other people are like, you know what? I'm fine with the snow, but I don't want excess. I don't want a lot of extra. So something just also to be mindful of if you're thinking about making a move. So if you're thinking about making a move out here to the Highland Alpine area, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and it would be our absolute pleasure to connect with you. Take care and have a great one. Bye.